Hi everybody, we're back here, and we're going to start looking at editing the structure and pipe properties. Now, if you notice, I've turned off my layout layer in the background, so I don't need to see that anymore. And as usual, keep all the layers, keep everything as clean as possible so you can see what you're doing. Um, so, what we're going to look at now is we've drawn in our sanitary network, our existing sanitary or our proposed sanitary network, and we're going to look at sort of a way to keep things organized and get the labels looking the way we want. You notice if I zoom in, if I hover over the structure here, it's going to tell me that that's structure number 1, the style and the layer, and notice that the label reflects the actual structure name. So we can go into the structure properties and edit the name, and that's going to reflect on the label, which works well. And so I like to start with my top structure being number 1 and work my way downstream. Especially when we go to do our sanitary sewer sizing calculations, it's nice to have these named in an organized fashion. So I'm going to go into this structure number 1's properties, right-clicking and going into structure properties. And notice that on the information tab we have the name, which Civil 3D automatically gives it, structure number 1, and subsequent structures will get subsequent numbers. So I'm going to rename this to sanitary manhole number 1. When I look over in the, and that'll reflect in the label, when I look over on the part properties, notice that you can see and change what the surface reference is and what the reference alignment is. So because we've picked finished surface as our surface and Casey Drive as our reference alignment, it's going to show us the surface elevation at the insertion point, 145.721, and that happens to be the same as the rim elevation, 145.721. So that's good. We can see that. And yeah, we can also see if we go over to, and we can also see the structure station. So the stationing 0.708, that comes from our Casey Drive alignment. Now over to the connected pipes tab, and that shows you which pipes are connected to that manhole and what their sizes are, and the key thing over here is what their invert elevations are. Okay, so we can see that the invert of pipe number 1 is 143.164, and then we've got pipe number 7 coming in at 143.157, and pipe number 8 coming out at 143.097. So we want to make sure that the flow works properly here. So the manhole that we want, or the pipe that we want to drain out of, needs to be, of course, the lowest, which in this case it all looks good. We've got 60 millimeters between the incoming pipe and the 2 outgoing pipes. Actually, right here we don't, because, oh yeah, pipe number 7 and then pipe number 8. Okay, so we can actually change those inverts right here if we want to. The other tab is rules. So we have all the rules that we put in the rule set, shows us the comparison to what our actual structure is. The reason it's showing such a small invert change is because there's 3 pipes there, or such as small drop value. Okay, so now we've changed that name to sanitary manhole 1, apply, okay, and then the label changes, which is nice, automatically. Okay, now looking at the connected pipe, or I'm going to just look at the first pipe that's on Casey Drive. I'm going to call that one pipe number 1, but I like to call my manholes the same number as an outgoing pipe. Now in the case where we have 2 outgoing pipes, we might have to veer from that rule, but it's nice to be able to relate the numbers to which manhole the pipe's connected to. So if I hover over that pipe, notice that the name is pipe number 1, and it shows you the style, and then the layer, and then the network and the size. So notice that the pipe label that's been automatically placed actually shows us actually looks at the description of the pipe. It doesn't look at the name of the pipe. So hence the label style is called description. So if we go into the pipe properties by clicking on the pipe and right-clicking and going to pipe properties, so under information tab, we see that the default for the naming is to just start at 1 and work your way up. I'm going to change, I'm going to just take the brackets out of here and just call it pipe 1 for simplicity. And notice that the description here matches what the label is showing. And then there's the style that's been set for that pipe. Part properties. So if I go to the part properties tab, notice that I can see the slope of the pipe. I can see the start and end elevations of that pipe. So I can actually edit those slopes or those inverts. I could choose to hold the start elevation and change the slope, or to hold the end elevation and change the slope from the end, right? Yeah. And now if I go to the Rules tab, I can see the values for this pipe as opposed to what the value in our rule set was. If there's a disagreement, so if it doesn't follow the rules, there's going to be a big red circle with a line in it. So our minimum cover was 2.3 and ours is 2.31. And our maximum cover, then our shows our minimum slopes, and then our lengths. So that was good layout there, just a meter or so short of our 100-meter maximum. And yeah, so that's where we can see where we might have gone wrong with the rules of that pipe. So I just changed the name of the pipe to pipe 1 simplicity for simplicity, and so on. So structure 2, we want to name sanitary manhole 2 and pipe number 2, etc., etc. Another way to quickly edit your pipe network which is easier than going into each individual property, is to actually go into the tabular form of that. So if I click on any part of that network and right click and go to Edit Network, all right, there I have my tools. I can add to that network. I can add structures and pipes if I want, but also over here I can also change the surface and the alignment and the parts list if I want. Over here I have, let's see, Pipe Network Vista. If I click on that, it's going to give me what they call a Vista view of my network, and I can quickly go through here and edit those names, which comes in really handy. So I'm going to do that. I'll go through here. Now I'm going to have to, so I'll say San. Oh. San manhole 2. Whoops. okay, etc. All right, so keep on doing that and we'll be ready. So I've renamed all of my sanitary manholes, and then I've gone to the pipes tab here and I've renamed all of my pipes. Now, one other thing that I want to look at right now is the fact that a couple of these pipes and a couple of these manholes actually don't have the finished surface as their reference surface because they are on the existing road, which isn't part of our surface. And the other thing is many of these pipes are actually on Edmund Crescent, not Casey Drive. So I want their chainages to reflect that. I want to change those over to the Edmund Crescent, sorry. So we're going to look at our drawing and see which of those pipes are involved. So if I go, so this pipe is going to be a little tricky because it crosses from one surface to another. This manhole 5 and manhole 6, and actually this last manhole, which is actually an existing manhole, is manhole 7. So 5, 6, and 7. If I go over to my structures tab, 5, 6, and 7, I'm going to change the reference surface. Five, 6, and 7, and I can just pick them and hold the shift key, and then pick the reference surface, and I'm going to pick the existing surface. Surface for those. Okay, so that changed those three manholes. Now, which pipes are involved here? So let's see. This pipe is 6, 5. So it's just 6 and 5. We'll leave this one to fix up. So 6 and 5. So over on the pipes tab, we're going to change the reference surface for pipes 5 and 6 to be the existing surface. I'll just do them individually here. Okay. And the next thing would be to go and check which pipes and which manholes need to be changed for their reference alignments, right? And I'll just go ahead and do that. I'll pause for a minute. Okay, I've updated the alignments for the manholes that are on Edmund Crescent so that they get the correct chainages on the profile. The other thing I want to do is take a look here. One of these manholes is existing. The one that I'm actually connecting into, that's sanitary manhole 7. So I'm going to go and I'm going to change the name of that to, I'm just going to put existing in front of it. Yeah, so I'm just going to put existing in front of the name. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the style of that manhole to be the sanitary manhole existing style. That way it'll be one of those shaded, or show up as shaded on the drawing. And look, you can see how it updates already. And I think we've made all the changes that we need to make to the properties. So next video we'll look at putting that network onto the profiles. Thanks.